So, Kane, the seeds of the Hawthorn success were sown 2 years ago, really. Let's have a look at this.
And one of the things that was just so important to me is that every single person that walks through our organisation feels cared for, and that we look after every single person.
There's no more tiptoeing around at training or, oh yeah, I'll sit out of this drill, let's bring your mouth guard and let's get to work. I'll put my hand up and say I'm not living to the standards required, certainly, and that's what we spoke about as a playing group. We know that we can't just stick to a footy schedule like every other club and expect that we're going to be as good as Collingwood. We need to do extras, and we've made commitments to each other to do that.
So that was the famous Dylan Moore line in the Sand interview when they were 0-5. And I know coaches make those speeches at BNFs, and I know players give those interviews when they're really playing poorly and results have been bad. But everything they said, everything Sam said in 2022, and if you watch the whole speech, and everything Dylan Moore has said has come into fruition, that they have walked the walk.
Players are getting better, which is just proof that they've walked the walk.
Even the management of Jack Ginnivan's interesting. Just for a moment to contrast the Craig McRae issue with Jack, and then the way Sam Mitchell responded to it for a similar incident on Thursday night.
Don't go to the races the day before would be the lesson, I'd say.
Weren't happy about that?
Read the room, Jack.
I think most of us have watched Friday night footy or Thursday night footy at a public venue for the majority of the year, and he played well and he lives how he lives and knew about it. As long as he went home around the half-time mark, then I was going to be pretty happy with what he's doing, and it's no issue for me at all.
And this was Jack Ginnivan's Instagram, very cheeky Instagram post suggesting that Hawthorn are going to beat Port Adelaide and play Sydney the following week.
That would annoy me.
I'm sorry. Sam Mitchell says that after the game and they've won and Jack Ginnivan's played a good game. Collingwood was sticking up for Jack Ginnivan too before the grand final. They put out a press release. I'm not buying that Sam Mitchell comment, and let's just see what goes on.
And then to double down with that and suggest that you're going to walk through to a prelim final, and they may well do that, and he may well play well again.
Look at me.
Guess what every Hawthorn player is going to be asked about.
You might get jittery sitting home alone, and you might need to get out, but do you go to one of the biggest pubs in Melbourne on the night before?
I think he's the most refreshing thing to happen to football that I can remember.
Yeah, but what if some drunk had come up to him and belted him? That's what happens at pubs in Richmond sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
But he's entitled. I think he's entitled. I don't like that one either, because I just reckon it's all good and well when you're winning, because we all go, oh, it's all fine, but that one I don't think what he gains out of that. But the pub one, I think he's entitled, in my opinion, to do what he feels.
The game needs.
I'm not going to war over it. I'm just saying Hawthorn is thrilled with what he's doing, as they're saying they are.
And he's drawing a whole age of kids and army of young fans into the game.
What I do know is that his form in the second quarter, what he did late in the second quarter, was match winning.
He'd want to play well on Friday night.
It might be time for you to dye the hair again, I think, too.
He'd want to play well.
Good call, bad call time. Caroline Wilson with the near ball. And Caro, it's hard to watch your children lose. Good call, bad call.
This is a very good call by you. Astute of you, Craig. You picked Andrew Demetriou in the Sydney Giants game crowd. There he is in his Giants scarf. He's a lifetime member. He was pretty upset at the end.
Hutchie to you, 3AW's attempt to pitch to a younger crowd is off to a shaky start. Good call, bad call.
It's a bad call. It's a facetious call, and you shouldn't let Caro give you the audio to ask your questions call. This is what you're referring to on the weekend.
Lies.
Referring to this.
That little hair thing you've got on the back of your head. What do you call that little contraption on the back of your head, Connor?
It's called a rust tailor.
It was a bleak picture, and as people might say these days, WTF.
I think that's perfectly fine. You're connecting with the younger generation, no problem at all.
By the face.
Kane, it's time for an in-season rule change that would actually be popular. Good call, bad call.
Yeah, I think good call, Lord. I just wonder how many marks and goals of the year you would have taken in finals, which has meant that you are ineligible. Maybe that's the reason you've asked, but that's the goal of the year. There it is, Jeremy Cameron. The football shouldn't be doing that. And this is as good as mark as I think I've ever seen. Oh, that's clearly the mark of the year, but neither of those two players will win that prestigious award and the big prize that's on offer this year.
Oh, so negative. Matthew, bandwagon Hawthorn supporters are getting ahead of themselves. Good call, bad call.
That's a good call by you, Cara. They are absolutely everywhere, including our man Kane Corn. So I've heard say he'll get maybe 2 tattoos, one wizard and one even just other Hawks one.
I'm all in. So good. He's so good. If they win it, I'm getting a wizard tattoo. A wizard tattoo. The Hawthorn one and a wizard one now.
Okay.
Technology, Kane, is coming for all of us. Good call, bad call.
It's a bad call, Hutchie. Let's have a listen to Lethal again.
And the All-Australian selectors, I reckon in a couple of years' time, AI will pick the All-Australian team. That's how heavily they're influenced by stats.
He needs to come to an All-Australian meeting. Don't even hear from Champion Data in those meetings, Lethal. Come on.
Kara, I love this one as well. Abby saw what Kane did not. Good call, bad call.
Speaking of All-Australian selection, this is a good call. And Kane, I know you weren't super happy that this vision came out, but let's have a look again.
Dylan Moore, he's probably a watch in the forward half. Jai Newcombe, quality, hard-nosed midfielder. Jai Newcombe, quality, hard-nosed midfielder.
Abby, go girl.
Finals don't
He
count.
didn't even make the squad.
Finals
Jai
don't
Newcombe.
count.
Predicted what was coming.
Just because he
But
played.
he's second in the BNF the last 2 years, and he probably will
You
again.
should be listening more.
Oh, all right.
It's embarrassing for you,
Lordo.
Kane.
Body and mind aren't the only things. Christian Petrarca is rehabilitating. Good call, bad call.
Well, I think that's a good call by you, Kane. The socials, and he's back amongst the family of
Warming.
Melbourne.
He's warming,
He's
yeah.
warming the Melbourne fans back up, I think.
And Craig Hutchison, it is good to see that at least one footy tradition continues to thrive. Good call, bad call.
Now, this is a bad call, and I'm with my man Kane on this. Put the dress-ups away. This is not Sesame
That's
Street.
Adelaide.
Do you know what? Carlton today turned up in full costumes for their Mad Monday. Looked like they'd done 3 months' work on the
There's
costumes.
Rochelle.
Look, it's 2024.
We're still doing the Mad
Didn't
Monday
even
golf
play in
one,
the
aren't
last
we?
game.
Look at Carlton today. Now, what on earth is this?
Embarrassing.
Honest to God. it is time to
So
put
you
the
can only do it if you
costumes
win the premiership, is that
Oh,
it?
Geelong are the
Not
only
even
team
then.
that can do it. They do it better than
Give us
anyone.
a spell.
Everyone else, embarrassing.
on.
It's not book week.
Curmudgeons, you bloke.
What would you call it?
Curmudgeons.
That's a carry word.